Live from clickorlando.com, this is News 6 at 5:30. This is a News 6 Plus takeover. Here now is Lisa Bell and Candace Campos with Florida Foodie.
Hello and welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Candace Campos. Do you ever go to a restaurant and you have that competing argument in your head, savory or sweet?
Yes.
Okay, well, I have the answer to that. I mean, they just opened up a brick and mortar just a few weeks ago. They first started up as a pop-up, then a food truck, and now brick and mortar.
So now we can go sit down and enjoy both the savory and the sweets. We are so happy to be joined today by the chef behind Smokin' Donuts, Ian Russell. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
You guys have grown so much in Central Florida over the past 6 years or so. You now have an actual physical location where people can find you. How did you get started with Smokin' Donuts? How did it come about?
Short story, abridged story is my wife wanted a donut shop and I wanted a barbecue joint.
Okay.
She had been traveling and noticing for work, noticing the donut trend evolving back in 2015, 2016, going from being just sweet and primarily chain dominated to smaller, boutiquier donut joints where they were getting a little crazy, mixing some savory components in with their donuts. And she would call me up from these big cities and she'd be like, babe, there was this crazy donut that I saw the other day and they put sriracha on top of it and pistachios and wow, cool. And she would take these donuts, she would buy a dozen boxes of donuts and carry them on her lap back from big cities on the plane. So yeah, she's a donut enthusiast.
Yeah, hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah,
husband, right?
yeah.
Figured this out.
So at the same time, I was gaining a curiosity and starting to read and learn about smoking meats, about barbecue. It was a blind spot for me. I didn't know anything about it. I never worked for a chef that made barbecue. Didn't study barbecue in culinary school, and so I was curious. I started reading books, watching podcasts and blogs, and made a lot of really bad barbecue in the beginning.
I feel like a lot of dry meat. Yeah.
Oh my God, a lot of really dirty smoke and acrid dry meat, and it was a catastrophe. My wife told me it was good, and my mom.
Oh, that's sweet.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
you take that for what it is, which is encouraging.
Right, there you go.
Yes.
I continued to practice, and at one point, although she might deny this, it was her idea. She said we should do a pop-up. We should do something at a local farmer's market or a little fair or something. I was working in the wine industry at the time, and she knew that I wanted to cook professionally again. And so this was the idea. Let's do a little pop-up, just something fun, funky on the side. And so we did, and that's how we started, like you mentioned, under a beige tent in the back alley of a Winter Springs brewery.
Yeah, that's not sketchy
called
at all.
Red Cypress. Yeah. It was a back alley barbecue pop-up. That's exactly what it was in the beginning.
But clearly the response was fantastic.
So we had no idea that the response was going to be what it was. It was a donut and barbecue concept, and when we Google donuts and barbecue back then, you punched into Google and nothing came up. It didn't Google. There was nothing when you punched donuts and barbecue and donuts into Google, and so that's either, it could be terrifying because you have a really bad idea, or it's a good idea, and nobody else was doing it. And as it turned out, and we found this out quickly, it was a good idea. And we sold out fast. That's what happened. That's kind of why that's how it continued forward. That's how the inertia of the concept of the two ideas going together moved forward, because our first event, we sold out. And fast, really fast. We had no idea. And so we thought, let's do another event. And I smoked twice as much meat, and we prepared twice as much donut glazes and donut toppings, and we sold out. And that kind of continued event after event. We'd smoke more, we'd prep more, we'd sell out. We'd smoke more, we'd prep more, we'd sell out.
Not a bad problem to have.
Not a bad problem,
right?
no,
Not a
with
bad
no
problem.
complaints. But it kind of solidified for us, okay, let's give this a shot. Let's see if
It helps when it smells so good. I mean, it just draws people in.
It's like that
They have to
cartoon
try
where they just
it.
float to your food.
But we did bring the smoker with us. So you had a deep fryer frying donuts, so it smelled kind of like a carnival.
Yeah.
And a smoker with wood and fire burning in it, and so it smelled like a barbecue joint and at a carnival.
So you're doing this on the side while you're still trying to juggle other jobs that are actually paying the bills for you at that time.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. How hard is that, you know, to get started and to follow your dream like you have done?
Extremely. It's tiring.
Yeah.
But the response from the Orlando community was so encouraging, so exciting, so invigorating that it kept pushing us forward. And like I mentioned earlier, my wife still has her day job. You know, we're not to a point yet where we're able to just roll without any kind of standard income. So yeah, it's very hard. It takes a long time. If you have incredible support from the community and from your local network of family and friends, it makes it a little easier.
And we actually had a Florida foodie where we talked to a la carte, which is one of your spots that the food truck was able to have some residency there. I feel like it's like a Las Vegas residency, right? I mean, how was that working with a la carte and now kind of full circle moment being able to be almost
like
right next
steps,
door?
Right?
It was fantastic. It was a wonderful place for us. That we moved in there in July of 2020, so right after COVID really started to kind of sink its teeth in, right? And so for us, the timing could not have been better. It was ideal. It gave us a place to continue to serve the Orlando audience that we had been slowly building in a relatively COVID-friendly environment. You know, it was outdoors. So the relationship that we had with a la carte was extremely important for us.
You mentioned that you did go to culinary school.
I did.
But you didn't study barbecue or how to make a donut.
Yeah, because
in fact, you
chef.
hired a baker.
Right.
I did.
Yes. So tell us what you brought here today.
And I feel like people who are either listening or watching have already Googled your Instagram already to try to see, is it smoke and then donuts? Is it donuts and then smoke? Or is it both?
Do you have to eat the donut after you eat the barbecue, or can you eat the donut first?
It's so funny. So often at our restaurant, the donuts will be ready first, and so 50% of the time, at least, we start with dessert at our restaurant. So you can eat the donuts first. You can eat the barbecue first. You know, barbecue lends itself towards sweet flavors.
That's true.
Right? And the same way that donuts have kind of always lent themselves towards savory flavors. The cake donut on its own is not particularly sweet, but nevertheless, you know, smoked meats lend themselves towards sweet sauces, and vice versa. Donuts lend themselves towards the other. So what I have today is some of our St. Louis ribs, which have brown sugar and toasted guajillo glaze on them, with our mac and cheese, which has 4 different cheeses in it, some from Mexico, some from Switzerland, and some cheddar as well. This is our spicy version. It's got our Red Fox sauce on top of it, which is roasted garlic, chipotle peppers, and beer. Then we've got a little bit of our cucumber and cabbage slaw, which is a crunchy, bright salad version of slaw. It's not a mayonnaise-based slaw. Our meats are plenty rich, right? The barbecue is plenty rich, so we make a slaw that is bright, crunchy, fresh, zesty, and kind of balances out the richness of the meats. We smoke all of our meats in Texas-style offset pits. So we have 2 barbecue smokers, which are big propane tanks that are welded to other slightly smaller, although fairly big propane tanks. And then you create a fire in one part of the pit with oak and put the meat in the other part of the pit. And it's a very, very old school style of barbecue. So that's how these are made. The ribs take about 6 hours.
Okay.
Brisket will take anywhere from 18 to 20 hours. It's about a 24-hour process start to finish. Yeah, it's
patience. It's love.
It's patience.
Yes.
It's a lot of patience.
Yeah.
The concept of low and slow is important to this, because you're taking these cuts of meat that are sort of high activity cuts of meat that have a lot of connective tissue, they have a lot of collagen, they have a lot of elastin, and if slowly over time you allow those things to break down within the meat, they become gelatin, which is where in barbecue you get that really rich, mouth-coaty, indulgent umami flavor.
Still ahead on Florida Foodie, the secret behind those house-made donuts and our reaction to the famous brisket sliders.
Are you okay there?
This is so crazy.
Plus how to spot the hidden symbol inside the Smokin' Donuts logo. Florida Foodie is back with Ian Russell, the chef behind Smokin' Donuts. His new brick-and-mortar restaurant in Orlando started as a food truck and now offers thousands of sweet and savory combinations.
On any given day, how many different types of donuts do you have at your store?
Okay, well, you can create your own donut.
Oh, forget it. You can create your own.
I don't know.
I can't go if I can't.
12,000, something.
Really?
I don't know what the combination,
that
what the
work?
numbers are that you can create. But
Okay.
of confectioner's donuts, I think we have 13 or 14. We're always
Okay.
sort of adding them. I think we'll
And they're
end up
just
with.
constantly changing too, I imagine.
We're constantly adding right now. We do some seasonal donuts. We do special event donuts.
They're gorgeous donuts.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hired a baking and pastry chef. Yeah. For a long time when we first started. I kind of BS'd my way through it a little bit.
Okay.
I studied baking and pastry in culinary school, but for 3 weeks out of 2 years. So there's some familiarity.
Yeah.
To fudge my way through it
Right.
a little bit. And it was fine for a long time. And then at one point, this classically trained pastry chef reached out to me, sent me an email, and said, hey, I'm interested in working with you on the donut side. And I kind of didn't pay attention to her in the beginning. And so she sent me another email, but this email
I could do it.
I was like, I'm good.
fine,
It's
I'm
all
good."
right because I'm good. The donuts sell. We do fine. We do.
Yeah.
People like our donuts. She sent me another email, and this one had pictures in it.
Oh.
And
she's good.
She's
Yeah,
good. Oh,
she's
she's
good.
fantastic, as it turns out. Yeah. So I hired her. Right.
Smart.
Needless to say, yes. Smarter than I knew at the time, even. And so she has completely sort of evolved our donut offering. And so the vast majority of our donuts were sort of built with ice cream toppings on them. She changed it so that we have pastries. We have pastry toppings on our pastries.
So you said you fudged your way to it, and now you're adding fudge.
Fudge.
Yes,
to it.
emphasis on fudge.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we have a key lime pie donut, which
Okay.
has our candied lemonade glaze on it, a pavlova on top, and then a key lime pie filling with a little bit of toasted buttered graham cracker crust crumble.
It hurts. It hurts. How good it sounds.
Not just ice cream toppings.
No.
Then we have, and so that's called our key lime pie. Then we have a donut called the Nightfall, which is a chocolate glaze with toasted black sesames and a black sesame fudge, along with a little bit of sea salt on top. She indulges my love for sweet and savory. Actually, she loves sweet and savory too. So
Now, are these on cake donuts?
these are on cake donuts. Yeah, we make all of our donuts in-house, so the donuts are very fresh when you come and have them at our location.
And it's hard to understand on TV. These are nice.
Yes.
Massive
That looks like a meal in and of itself.
Yeah. So when you go in there, you might want to share.
Yeah. Right?
You know?
Yeah.
Little
Unless you're
sample.
making your own. So how does that work? You just get a plain donut and then you just tell.
You get a plain donut, and then we have a variety of different glazes that you can choose.
No, you
Take a
don't.
picture.
No, you
Yeah.
don't.
Look, create your own donuts. So
They actually do. It says create your own.
yeah.
I
so
gotta
you,
see some of
so you
this.
start with a plain donut, then you pick a glaze, then you pick 2 glazes if you want, 3 glazes. I'm a big fan of the candied lemonade. Something like the key lime pie is great. It's bright, it's fresh, it's zesty. If it's a little cooler out and you're in the mood for something a little bit richer, I'm a huge fan of the Nightfall donut. Although I'm also a big fan of a donut that we call the Salty Englishman, which has been with us from the beginning.
Toot toot.
It's Makers and maple glaze with Heath bar, see, ice cream toppings, and a little bit of sea salt.
Sounds
on top.
amazing.
So I'm a big fan of that one too.
And here it looks like we have the best of both worlds.
So right, we don't force the issue of having your donuts and barbecue together, but we certainly make it available.
Oh, good. Good for you guys.
This is our donut and brisket slider, and it's a vanilla glazed donut that has a little bit of sea salt on top of it. We slice it in half and we use it as a bun. And
Because why not?
Because we have them and we have to try, right?
okay.
Even if you just eat it, it's delicious. But it turns out that it's extremely good to chop up and toss with a little bit of barbecue sauce. We use our toasted guajillo barbecue sauce, which is a classic Texas
All
style
the sauces here.
of barbecue sauce. We make 6
you ready to
different
try some?
sauces.
Let's crank it open. Let's start the plastic.
And so yeah, we end up with our chopped brisket and donut slider.
Okay, so where should we be? Where are you going to begin, Candace?
I can't even talk. My mouth is watering so much. I'm gonna talk on TV and I'm gonna have drool coming down the side of my mouth. Where do you think?
Here's a plate.
Chef?
You know,
you.
I would say start with just the classic barbecue.
That's right.
Start with
All right.
I'd say
Whatever.
let's
Okay,
start
smart.
with just
Yeah.
the ribs. And I brought you some good messy Good
course
messy
you
food.
did.
Of course you did.
I mean, I
Easy
wasn't
to
gonna.
eat.
I wasn't gonna get away from it
I'll start
anyways.
with the top
It's
one.
donuts
I'm
and
gonna just
barbecue.
put some of this on my plate. I'm gonna just make myself a little plate here.
Look at you.
You recommend some of the sauce though, right? The
I
sauce has
do.
got
If you
some heat.
like a little bit of spice, I definitely do.
Okay.
That's chipotles,
Okay.
roasted garlic, and beer. And so we take this mac and cheese, we fry it on the outside, we fold it over, we make like a mac and cheese omelet. We stuff it with sweet onions, with pulled pork, and with spicy sauce if you wanted to. And it's our stuffed mac and cheese. So we have a couple different incarnations of mac and cheese.
Nice sweet cornbread.
A summer salad. A lot of the items on your menu, though, too, I understand, have been inspired by customers, like your Cuban sandwich.
The Cuban sandwich was good.
It's true. The Cuban. Somebody asked me one day if I had or if we could make a Cuban, and I said, no, we don't have a Cuban, but let's see if I can make one.
Are you okay there?
This is so crazy.
Is it bad? Is it bad if I use a knife to cut it in half? You just
said
have to
don't do
go
that.
in.
You can. You totally can. And you can eat it however you like. But
Wow. Got lipstick on it.
I don't know if my brain's thinking salty and savory or sweet. It's both. So good.
so when people, especially in the very beginning, when people came up to like our pop-up tent and they said donuts and barbecue, what are you talking about? That's awful. Like, why are you selling donuts and barbecue together? And you make a sandwich out of it? But the reality is, like I said, they both sort of lend themselves towards the opposite, right? The donuts lend themselves towards savory things, and the barbecue lends itself towards sweet things. It's like when a little bit of maple syrup makes it onto your bacon when you're having breakfast. It's a magical
Yes,
thing.
it is. It is.
right?
It's very magical.
Which, and I
it's a
think
good way to describe it.
I think it's actually a very early memory of mine. I swear we were at an IHOP or a Perkins or something when I was a little fella. And I remember a little bit of maple syrup making it onto my bacon and just
We were
going,
like, oh, that's a good combo.
wow, that works.
Yeah.
That's fun. So.
I mean, bacon on anything, right, is
Bacon
pretty
on
amazing.
a plate.
Yeah.
Anything at all.
Yeah.
So what's your
Absolutely
favorite? If
anything.
you had to like pick your one favorite dish or side or what?
My one favorite. It depends on the day, but I know I have to have something. So my one favorite right now is ribs. That's why I brought ribs.
Okay.
My one favorite right
So
now
good.
is definitely ribs, and it's because I'm excited about the way that we have evolved our methods of smoking them and our method of sort of holding them and keeping them in a state that's delicious all day long. For instance, these were obviously not smoked just now, but they still have that very tender,
do.
very soft, very moist sort of experience on the palate, which is something that
So you're almost like
we've
it's-
worked on.
It's your pride. The ribs are.
It's something that just
you're
recently
really
I've
proud of.
It's your baby.
it's something that just recently I've kind of figured out more
Right.
about. And
So you opened your physical location in February of 2023. Take us inside. If we go in, where are you located, and what is that experience like?
It's very cool looking.
we're at 601 North Primrose Drive, which is Primrose just off of Colonial.
A lot of stuff popping up around there.
Yeah, it's the Milk
Milk
District.
District.
It's
Yeah.
North
Yeah.
Milk District, right? Which is super fun, and it's a stone's throw away from where a la carte was. So, so if you found us at a la carte before, it's easy to find us now.
Follow your nose.
Just follow your nose. Yeah. The pits are smoking on every day these
Yeah.
days, so you can smell it. It definitely it smells like smoked meats.
And I love your logo. It's so creative. It's a little flame, but it
you.
looks like a donut.
It's a flaming donut.
It's a flaming donut.
It's a flaming donut.
Let's try those donuts.
Okay.
Guys.
Yeah,
You tell
for
us
sure.
where we can find you on social media. You mentioned your new address near downtown Orlando.
Yep. On social media, we're on
Cut it in
Instagram.
half. You're gonna have a whole.
No,
donut.
cut it in half.
Which one?
I want the apple.
These will survive cutting in half a little. These will survive. Yeah. This is our apple pie.
See, I wanted the
amazing.
apple pie.
Okay,
too.
good.
Okay.
So you can find us on social media on Instagram at Smoke and Donuts, SMOKEANDDONUTS
Okay, boom,
is our
boom.
handle on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on what else is there out there?
Keep talking to me. So good. So good.
Yeah, you can find us all over the place. You can find us on our website too at smokeanddonuts.com, which is where
This is
catering
fantastic.
information can be found as well.
And so fun because even you can take your kids and they can make their own donut, and that's a fun thing.
You need to
Yeah.
eat your food though before you can
That's
make
right.
yourself a donut.
It's been so fun to see how many families come with their kids in the middle of the day. Like I feel like they come like after nap time. I have an almost 3-year-old, so so I feel like after nap time, all of a sudden families sort of come in and join us and with their kids, and they'll come up and they'll make their own donuts. And
You'll get that sugar rush and then go right back to bed.
Exactly. You rush and then crash by 7:30. Right? That's the goal.
Ian Russell,
Texture's
thank
important.
you so much for coming in and sharing your
would you
amazing
like a bite?
barbecue.
We didn't even offer
You
you
know,
a
Why
bite.
not leave it?
You'll enjoy.
Yeah, this has been so much fun. It's so delicious. Can't wait to check you out in person and go and enjoy some more donuts and some more barbecue.
Please, I look
Thank
forward to
you. Thank you
welcoming
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Tell your wife we say
right.
hello.
I will.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And thank you for watching Florida Foodie. You can always catch us on Wednesdays on News 6 at 5:30 or watch anytime on News 6 Plus. That's where you can explore delicious stories and meet the makers behind some of the best mom and pop restaurants in Florida. It's all free on the News 6 Plus app.